Hi, I'm Scott Marathaler. Welcome to Rooftops of America. Today, we're going to talk about highpointing. What highpointing actually is. Now, if you've been watching this series for a while, you probably have a pretty good idea. But let's say you're new to this and you just decided to YouTube it and Google it. Well, let this video be a nice little way of explaining the sport of highpointing. I'll also provide a few guidelines to help you along the way on your highpointing journey. But before we get into this, take a moment, click that red subscribe button below and the bell icon next to it for all the latest Rooftops of America updates.
Highpointing is ascending to the point with the highest elevation within a given area.
That's it. That's highpointing. But surely you're wondering, Sky, there has to be more to it than that, right? Well, actually, no. In our modern chaotic world, highpointing remains simple and straightforward. Other types of climbing might add in some rules of a certain amount of miles to cover or a certain amount of vertical gain has to happen, but not highpointing. Highpointing is only concerned about reaching the summit, however you go about it. That said, I'd like to give you a few guidelines that will help you along the way in your highpointing journey.
Number 1. The goal is to reach the highest natural point. Regardless of any man-made structures, such as towers, platforms, or antennae, the goal is to stand on the highest natural point. So, if the natural high point is covered with a building and it's accessible to the public, even on a limited basis, then the goal is to gain entry and stand over the presumed high point. The benchmark behind the door, the Brasstown Bald Observation Center in Georgia, is a perfect example of this. On the other hand, if the structure is completely and permanently inaccessible, say something like a military base or private telecommunications tower, then the goal becomes reaching the highest accessible natural point. Look no further than Crown Mountain in the Virgin Islands as an example of this type. Related to this is the highest point in an area may not necessarily be the tallest mountain or hill in the area. Connecticut is an example of this one. Its highest point is on the boundary with Massachusetts on the side of a mountain. That would be your destination. One more thing. Signs stating the highest point, looking at you, Kentucky, may not be the final destination you are seeking. Number 2. Respect private property and specified dates for visitation. A number of state high points are owned by private citizens or businesses, so keep in mind, being able to visit the high point is a privilege. An example of this is Charles Mound, the state high point of Illinois. Privately owned, it's only open 10 days a year to the public. So check before you go so you don't get there and be disappointed. Going along with this guideline is a friendly reminder. High point with a leave no trace mentality. If you pack it in, pack it out. Leave only footprints and take only memories. Number 3. You can take any route to the top. Walking, hiking, climbing, driving a car, riding a horse, taking a train, pretty much whatever conveyance you want to get there by, well, they're all legitimate. You can add your own flair if you want to. Some people like to have some sort of hike to the high point or do a certain amount of vertical feet. But really, the choice on how you get there is all yours. All that matters is that you get to the top. Number 4. Be safe and be prepared. remember, the mountain will always be there. Highpointing can be dangerous and physically demanding. Some high points are major mountains and may well require mountaineering skills, proper equipment, experience with route finding, weather awareness, knowledge of emergency procedures, and a healthy respect for the outdoor world. Get yourself in good physical and mental condition, research your destinations, pack accordingly, and climb smart. And always remember, sometimes turning around is the best and smartest thing you can do. Number 5. Be ready to travel. This pursuit requires extensive travel, whether by automobile or plane. The United States is a big country, and along the way you're going to visit every state. And some of those states are awfully big too. On top of that, some of these high points are remote, isolated, and require a concerted effort just to get to the trailhead.
And finally, enjoy the journey. Whether highpointing the 50 states or whatever variation you end up doing, it's one of the best ways to see the country. It's an adventure that will take you off the beaten path, whether by yourself, with your family, or with friends. I'm Scott Marthaler. Thanks for joining me today on Rooftops of America. Before you go, click that red subscribe button below, and I'll see you soon.